The audience was buzzing with excitement when Jennifer Aniston appeared on Jimmy Kimmel's show, as she's always been a fan favorite with her witty charm and effortless grace. As she walked onto the stage, wearing a chic black outfit and flashing that familiar smile, the crowd erupted in applause. She hugged Jimmy, sat down, and the energy seemed light-hearted. Just another classic interview with one of America's sweethearts. But underneath that polished exterior, Jennifer was not in the mood for the usual jokes and playful teasing. Something felt off, and that subtle tension would soon erupt in an unforgettable way. Jimmy started off with some nostalgia, mentioning Friends and bringing up a few old clips from the show. Jennifer laughed along, but her reactions were slightly more restrained than usual. It wasn't long before he shifted gears and made a joke about the rumored rifts between the cast during the reunion episode. "I mean, come on, Jen, was it really all sunshine and coffee at Central Perk?" he teased, smirking. The audience chuckled, but Jennifer's face stiffened slightly. "We're not kids anymore, Jimmy, we've grown. And some things are better left in the past," she replied, her voice noticeably firm. Sensing her mood, Jimmy attempted to move on, but made a comment that crossed the line. Referring to her past high-profile relationships, he said, "You know, you've dated more famous guys than I've had hot dinners. How do you even keep track?" The crowd gasped and laughed awkwardly. Jennifer blinked slowly, clearly taken aback. "Seriously?" she said, locking eyes with him. "That's where we're going now?" Her tone wasn't angry yet, but the disappointment was loud and clear. Jimmy tried to laugh it off, but Jennifer's expression didn't soften. "I came here to talk about my film, not to be reduced to a tabloid headline," she continued, sitting upright in her chair. The audience, sensing the tension, quieted. Jimmy shrugged awkwardly and muttered something about just trying to keep things fun, but Jennifer wasn't having it. "You think it's fun to poke at someone's personal life on live TV?" she shot back. "Is that what we're calling entertainment now?" Her voice was louder now, cutting through the awkward silence that had fallen over the studio. The air grew thicker as Jennifer leaned forward. "I've been in this business for decades, Jimmy. I've dealt with enough late-night jokes, clickbait, and false stories to last a lifetime. I thought I could come on your show and actually talk about my work for once. But instead, I get jokes about my love life like it's still 2005. Jimmy fidgeted behind his desk, clearly unsure how to navigate the moment. "I didn't mean any offense," he said meekly, but the damage had been done. The crowd was stunned. Jennifer continued, her voice shaking slightly, not from weakness but sheer frustration. "Do you have any idea how exhausting it is to be treated like I'm still someone's ex, instead of a serious actor, producer, or even just a grown woman?" The crowd began to murmur, with some nodding in agreement. "You bring me here for promotion, but instead you hand me a script of cheap laughs and disrespect," she added. At this point, Jimmy was speechless, and the tension had completely overtaken the usual late-night comfort. Trying to rescue the moment, Jimmy reached for humor again. "You're right, Jen. Maybe I should have had a therapist on standby," he said, chuckling nervously. Jennifer didn't even flinch. "You still think this is a joke?" she asked, her tone colder now. "You're sitting there, making cracks while I'm telling you how it feels to constantly be disrespected. So your takeaway?" The audience stayed silent. This wasn't funny anymore, this was real. Slowly, Jennifer unhooked her microphone. "So you know I was excited to be here," she said, standing up. "I thought maybe this time it would be different, but it's the same routine. Mock the woman, turn her history into punchlines, and smile like nothing happened. I'm done with that." Jimmy tried to say something, perhaps to calm her, but Jennifer raised a hand. "Don't," she said, stopping him mid-sentence. "Just let me leave with what little dignity I've got left tonight." As she began to walk off stage, the entire studio was silent. Not a single laugh, not a single clap. Jennifer turned briefly and faced the audience. "Think about how we treat people in the spotlight. Maybe it's time we stop reducing women to who they date and start recognizing who they are." With that, she disappeared behind the curtain. Jimmy looked stunned. The crew scrambled to cut to commercial, but the moment had already been captured and immortalized by countless phones in the audience. Within minutes, social media lit up like Wildfire, clips of the confrontation spread across platforms, with hashtags like Jen Speaks Out and the Aniston Walkout trending worldwide. Some viewers criticized the show, while others praised Jennifer for finally addressing the tired narrative that has followed her for decades. The fallout was instant and massive. Talk shows, podcasts, and influencers all jumped in to give their 2 cents on what had just occurred. By the next morning, every major entertainment outlet was reporting on the clash. Headlines ranged from Jennifer Aniston calls out late, night disrespect, to Kimmel under fire after crude jokes spark walkout. The debate exploded across newsrooms and dinner tables alike. Was Jennifer overreacting, or had she finally said what so many others felt but never voiced? Public sentiment overwhelmingly leaned in her favor. Behind the scenes, sources close to Jennifer revealed that she had asked the producers not to mention her personal life during the show. That request, apparently, had been ignored. Others said she had felt increasingly frustrated by how media narratives hadn't changed in decades. Friends of hers spoke out, calling her walkout a powerful move for women in the industry. She wasn't emotional, she was fed up, one insider explained. Jimmy's team went into damage control mode. By noon, a publicist had issued a statement expressing regret for the exchange and noting that Jimmy meant no harm. But for many, the apology came off as insincere. It didn't help that Jimmy hadn't addressed the situation himself yet. As criticism piled up, pressure grew for him to make a more genuine statement. His silence, in contrast to Jennifer's bold exit, only amplified the backlash. A few days later, Jimmy opened his show with a more serious tone. "I've always tried to make people laugh," he said, "but sometimes in that effort, I cross lines I shouldn't. I want to sincerely apologize to Jennifer Aniston, not just for that night, but for playing into a narrative that diminishes her. She deserves better." It was an improvement, but many still felt the gesture was reactive rather than heartfelt. Jennifer, meanwhile, remained calm and composed in the aftermath. She made no public statements, gave no interviews, and didn't respond to the trending hashtags. Her silence was powerful. It wasn't about drama for her. She had said what she needed to say, and her message had already resonated far and wide. Her strength came not from continued commentary, but from the clarity of her stand. Weeks passed and the buzz began to settle, but the impact of that night lingered. People started re-evaluating how women are treated in interviews. Journalists became more cautious with their questions. Other celebrities began referencing the moment, praising Jennifer for speaking up. And fans, many of whom had admired her for years, now respected her on an entirely new level. In the end, Jennifer Aniston's clash with Jimmy Kimmel wasn't just a moment of tension on late-night television. It was a turning point, a powerful reminder that even the most beloved stars are human, with limits and boundaries. She walked off not in anger, but in strength, and that quiet refusal to accept disrespect echoed louder than any scripted joke ever could. It was a statement, and the world heard it loud and clear.